slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David. Where was David buried? In the city of David.
In the
Very
city
good.
of David, not here in the city of David.
In the city of David.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. The time that David reigned over Israel was 40 years, and he died in a good old age and was buried in the city of David. This is in 1 Kings, chapter number 2, verse 11. Now we find something interesting in Ezra, in Nehemiah, chapter number 3, verse 15 and 16. It says this: the fountain gate was repaired by Shallum. He rebuilt it and roofed it and set up at its doors by the king's garden, as far as the steps going down from the city of David. After him, Nehemiah, son of Azbuk, repaired to a point opposite the tombs of David, as far as the artificial pool and the house of the mighty. In Acts chapter number 2, verse 29, Peter's sermon on Pentecost: brothers, I may say to you with confidence about the patriarchs, David, that he both died and was buried, and his tomb is with us to this day. Right? So the disciples knew where David was buried, and his tomb was with us to this day. This is a large, look at the size of this tomb. It's huge. Now, there's a rule. You're not meant to be buried in the city. Where do people usually get buried? Outside of the city. Those who would be buried outside of the city. Even Yeshua would be buried outside of the what? City walls. And he was buried in a rich man's tomb. But it was outside the city walls. As we were walking down, I pointed out some of the holes in the walls along the other side. Tombs. And yet here, inside the city of David, we find David's tomb, potentially. This large tomb. It's huge. Right? And it's if you go inside there, there's a place where you can lay a body. Massive tomb. Now here's why I think it's so important and so interesting. We look at King David's life and we marvel at it. David, a shepherd boy. David, anointed by Jesse. David, defeating Goliath at 17 years old. David would go under Saul, and he wouldn't kill Saul, but Saul would try and kill him. David, who would kill Saul would kill his thousands, and David his tens of thousands. David would be a great mighty king. David will conquer Jerusalem. David did it all. Now you would think that David would be celebrated. In fact, the Jewish people today say King David was the best king we have ever had, hands down. Best king. Now look at this tomb. Very few people visit it. Very few people care for it. And some people say, nah, we don't know if it's his tomb. Maybe, maybe not. Do you know why I think it is his tomb? Because it's going unrecognizable. Unrecognizable. Now let's go back to David's life. David, when Jesse was called by Samuel to bring all his sons to be anointed king, who's not there? David, why?
Tending the sheep.
Jesse didn't see him as a king.
Yeah.
In fact, when his brothers are fighting and they're on the valley of Elah, which we'll hopefully visit on our last day, what does Jesse instruct David to do?
Take food.
Go and take food for your brothers. Go and serve them. This is after he was anointed as a king. After. Right? When he gets to his brothers, what do they say? What are you doing here?
I know your heart.
I know your heart.
You're proud and
Rejected by his father, rejected by his brothers. And I think a final piece of evidence is when David is dying. David is said to be an old man, and they had to find a woman to keep him
A
warm.
young woman, right?
So yeah, keep him warm. Where's his wives?
But probably they were not young. Because the scripture says young woman.
Yes, but
Sabe was there.
the point is this.
Oh, but they was there.
The point is this. David
Yeah.
is alone. David, during his time, is never actually acknowledged. We acknowledge him now because we watch the house of David and we look at the marvels of what David did for the kingdom of heaven. We're like, wow, David. But the truth is, David, in his lifetime, was not celebrated like David is today. And David, in his death, is not even acknowledged still. And I think that's a prophetic message, right? The very tomb that I would argue is King David, based off the evidence, it's in the city of David. It's a large tomb, the tomb fit for a king. And yet we don't see Jewish believers coming here today saying, wow, this is King David's tomb. It's a debate. We don't know. Maybe not, maybe not. Just with King David's life. You know, we look at King David's life and we marvel at it, but we actually realize King David was a man who was alone. He walked with the Lord, which means he didn't walk with many around him. Saul wanted to kill him. His brothers rejected him. His father didn't really understand his kingship. The women that he was with weren't with him at the end. David had a lonely,
His sons.
difficult life. His
Oh,
sons,
his sons.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But he had
His
one
sons,
friend, right, Jonathan, but he died.
yeah, and his sons would, Jonathan and his sons would rebel against him. Another point you could make. And
Yeah.
again, this tomb. Let's quickly sneak over and have a good look at it so you guys can have a look.